Hello everybody, my name is Matt, you're watching James Aviations. Today I'm going to be doing a Vatsim flight, just a quick hop from London Gatwick over to Dublin, Ireland, and we're going to be doing it in the PMDG 747. It's kind of an odd aircraft to choose for this flight, but I haven't flown it in a while, and I was looking through my plans and I figured why not just take it out and make it as like a sort of like a passengerless hop. Which is what we're going to be doing. We're not going to have any passengers on board. It's just going to be pretty much a hop. But for now, we're going to I have all the route information in. Just figured I would do that before anything else happened. Now what I have to do is I have to open up vPilot and get our vPilot dashboard sort of thing ready to go. So what we'll do is connect, and we'll do call sign is British Airways 189. Type is a Boeing 744. SoCal, I don't know what that is. So flight plan. It's gonna be IFR from EGKK to EIDW. Alternate airport is alternate is EGCC, which is Manchester. EGCC. Departure time right now it is 14:54, so we'll go 15:10 as our departure time. Time en route is about an hour. Fuel available 2 hours. Cruise altitude will be 28,000 feet, and our route is from it is going to be this. We might get not a correction, but a change in our route. Send and receive for voice. Correct. Equipment suffix. Sure, we'll go with heavy aircraft. Yes. Alright, for file flight plan. Alright, everything looks good there. So we will wait here, and what we'll do is we'll go on clearance delivery. Right now, I'm just gonna go through and make sure that our PPT button is working. Oh no, that's not gonna work. Settings, audio, set new PPTQ button. I don't have really the account. No. What we'll do is we'll do left control, apply. Okay. Okay, so let's go to clearance delivery. Now we're done with this, I believe. Let me just save this in case we're going to need it. So, okay, that's fine. Now we can get out of Google Chrome. So now we're going to have quite a bit more computing power. So let's find out that frequency, which is EGKK. Let's go to the ATIS first. What's the difference? Is there a difference? Okay, 134.22. 134.22.
Acknowledge receipt of information. Mike. And advise aircraft type. On first contact. Gatwick information. Mike. Time 1350. Runway news 26 left. Surface wind 310. 8 knots. Bearing between 260 and 350 degrees.
So using 260. I'm just taking that off so I can take all the information in at a sort of staggered way. 260 left is what we're using. Takeoff speed's deleted, which is fine. We're gonna go back into our takeoff real quick, and it's the same thing, but still we need to do it. Clear. As you can see, we're very low on the takeoff speeds because we have very little weight. So let's go back to that and change to delivery. 1.95.
Acknowledge receipt of information. Mike. And advise aircraft type on first contact.
1015 on the QNH.
Mike. Time.
1015. 1015. Is that what we have? Let's check. 10. We're in inches. 1013, which we need to change that to 1015. No, that's not right. 1015. There we are. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll make an initial to be odd either. Okay, we're 189, so he's not talking about. Let's wait. So we're gonna wait here just a second for the the transmissions to stop, and we'll continue to prep our aircraft to go. Just gonna turn on the beacon. I'm really excited for the V2 to come out. I'm kind of annoyed that we have to pay for it, but I'm excited for it anyway. I don't know if you need to push it. I haven't flown this aircraft in a really long time, as you might be able to tell. Just because I haven't had a use for a 747. I've been really into the triple, so I haven't been using it too often. TARA. And we're not mode C yet, so I'll take that off its own. I guess we can use it. Alright. What is 12195? 12195. Can we... PTT. I'm kind of confused. Microphone device, input, just regular, volume, cancel push to talk is right, apply. So what we're going to be doing is calibrating the mic right now. And so what we're doing is calibrating the mic, and then we're going to be continuing. And so what we're doing is calibrating the mic, and then we're going to apply that. For some reason I'm having a problem with the audio. Not showing. Get back our settings. Can I use it without a push to talk? Because I guess my push to talk is not working. Let me check this on the if there's like any forum to tell me what's going on. vPilot. PTT not working. vPilot. PTT. Obviously. I need to restart vPilot for a second now. I have to run it as an administrator, which is what I've gathered. Let's connect again. Our flight plan is already in. Still not working. Oh, there's no delivery anymore. 121.8. Okay, let's go over to 121.8.
Time 1350. Runway news 26 left.
20, Bug number 9 for departures. Contact 246, Big Bird 25%.
Alright, so we can get our 189. Gatwick ground speed bird 189 requesting mic check. Gatwick ground, speedbird 189 is a Boeing Heavy 747 with information Mike requesting clearance to Dublin International. Let's see. Oh, he's writing it down, so that's actually going to be quite easy. So he's probably typing now. Clear to Dublin via the Kennet 1 X-ray departure, squawk 4453. Kind of had a brain fart while I was speaking there. We'll give you a call when ready, Speedbird 189. So it's 4453. 4.
Ground, Speedbird 2675, requesting pushing.
4. 5. 3. 4453. TARA. So we're pretty much ready to go. I'm just going to drop our flaps down real quick, and our reversers are on for some reason because, oh, I know, never mind. It's going to be hard to explain, so I'm just going to skip the explanation there. But we'll go there, and I'm going to get our trim to be about in the middle. So that's good. Now what we'll do is request push back and start up. Gatwick ground, Speedbird 189 requesting pushback and start up. Push and start approved for Speedbird 189. I usually do, like, I like to do a read back because it really makes sure that we're on the same page and everybody's, you know, we're all paying attention to what's going on.
Ground, Speedbird 2675.
It's have to make sure that, I believe it's not on. I hate how you have to do pushback with the 747 like this. Actually, no, I don't remember how to do it. Whatever, I guess you just do, no, add-ons, PMDG.
Gatwick ground, Speedbird
You just press Shift P.
Requesting pushing start.
I don't remember. I'm guessing you just press Shift P. Okay, there you go. Alright, let's start her up. I might be really bad at starting it up. I'm not quite sure. Haven't done it in a really long time. So, what I'll do is I'll just press auto start. Because I don't want to be sitting here forever trying to start this thing. We'll let it start itself. So, British counterparts on their way. Bear 1 that's nice. It's a Northwest Air. That's interesting. Northwest Airlines in London. We're gonna have to, as we're doing this pushback, I'm gonna watch this pushback to make sure we don't hit anything first. But we'll push back, and we'll stop there, apply our parking brake, and then get our Kennet X1 1X departure set into our FMC for 26 left. Sorry for that. Those I don't know what you would call them, like those graphical glitches. They're just because the multiple programs that are running at the same time on my machine. So here come the flaps. We can stop here. This is enough room to turn around. And what we'll do is we'll get our parking brake on, and we'll get our FMC out, departure arrival. We have to go back to our menu at first. ACARS. I didn't mean to press ACARS, my bad. Departure arrival. First log off ACARS. Log off ACARS. FMC. Departure arrival. We're on the Kennet 1X. Kennet 1X. 26 left. Transition none. Accept. Execute, I should say, not accept. So let's make sure that's all continue. Okay. He didn't give us a departure frequency, so I'm guessing our departure. Oh, we'll get a. Because he's just ground, so that's okay. Sorry, hear my dogs in the background. That's really, really annoying. I apologize. I want to yell at them, but that's not cool. Alright. Gatwick ground, Speedbird 189, ready to taxi 26 left. Taxi to runway 26 left at the holding point Alpha 2 via Kilo November Alpha Sierra.
EPS 293, we'll stand 174, thanks for service. See you next time, bye-bye.
Okay, so A2 via Kilo November Alpha Sierra. We're gonna wait for our engines to stabilize. I'm gonna get a chart out, and we can start our taxi right away. EGKK
Yeah, the ground
chart. Taxi. Gatwick. Alright. So I'm going to just spool up the engines here, let them get kind of warm. So 26 left is right there. Okay, so I know where I'm going. This is no big deal. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a different thrust. In the engines, as you can see, the left engines have more thrust so that we can power a push to the left without really having to use too much rudder input. And as we start the turn, we can use the rudder input as well, and it just makes it a lot easier for us to do really quick turns. Yeah, it's easier to just do really quick turns, and it's you know, an easy way to do quick turns, and I like it quite a bit. So we'll get on this this taxiway right here. Sorry about my dogs again. I don't know why they're being so loud. So we're going to follow this taxiway Kilo up until we get to this intersection right here, which is where we get November, and we'll turn to the left. The funny thing about this airport is that it's very tiny. It services a lot of people, but it's very tiny. There's only 2 runways, which I like a lot about it. Even though you might have crosswind component, you're not going to be taxiing for days trying to get to your runway, which is why I like operating heavy aircraft out of it. They're really nice taxiways that are, you know, not going to be very confusing. So here we're going on taxiway November at this point. What? What? That chair? Yeah, in like an hour. Alright, so gonna raise the throttle just to get us over this, because we're heavy aircraft, regardless of how little what's called we might have, people we might have on board. We're still a heavy aircraft, so gonna have to give a little bit of throttle to keep us going. So our 21, and that's our at our upper limit, so we can ease off the throttle. And we're at 15 knots to turn, so I'm gonna start applying a little bit of brake, only sufficient to slow us down to 15 knots. As soon as we get below that, I'll just start adding more power, because I do not want us to stop on the middle of the taxiway. So here we go. Turn. And we're going to be Alpha 2, so I imagine that's the last one. ATC available contact Unicom. Roger, Unicom 122.8, and no further ATC, so I'll continue on there. Thank you for your service today. Have a good day. Alright, we're going to... This is 26 right. That's 26 left. Where's the right one then? I guess it's over there. I don't know. So 26 right. That's Alpha right there. Gatwick Tower 124.225 for Speedbird 189. So that was a little bit of confusion. So we'll just go over here. I know that I'm not at the right one, but I assume that it didn't matter because whatever. We all make mistakes. And plus I didn't see it, so whatever. 124.225. 124.22. So now we are on tower 124.22. Gatwick Tower, Speedbird 189, holding short of runway 26 left, ready for departure.
189, 26 left, clear to take off, wind 310 degrees, 10 knots.
Clear for takeoff, 26 left, Speedbird 189. Alright, so let's get on this runway real quick. And we'll take off. It's gonna require a little bit of maneuvering because this runway is pretty thin for a 747. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if they can actually operate out of them. I didn't do that type of research, so I'm not gonna claim I do know, because I don't. But it's a long enough runway, certainly, and we're going to do a static takeoff regardless. But still, it's big enough. What we're going to do is we're going to try and get ourselves on the runway with using the least amount of distance on the runway so that we still have a good enough distance to take off. So as you can see, I'm using the brakes quite a bit here to try and get us to make that turn quickly. Okay, so that was brakes, using the brakes, and then we'll stop here. Alright, we're cleared for takeoff, so we'll apply full power. We'll apply half power. Let the engine stabilize there. Once they stabilize there, which they pretty much have, go full power. Hold it there, let go of the brakes, get the center line back, and monitor our speed and keep ourselves on the runway. Airspeed is alive.
80 knots.
Just waiting for our V1 speed, which is at 120 something knots. You know, we have a very low weight, so we're going to be able to take off just fine. V1, rotate. So our hands are off the throttle at this point. V2, positive rate, gears going up. And we'll go back to throttles at this point. You don't need them this high. Very powerful aircraft. Gonna start pitching down a little bit with our trim. We'll go back up to full throttle, just making sure that he's not talking to us.
189
So. And here we said. Sorry, could you please repeat for Speedbird 189?
189, no further ATC, 123.123 today.
Unicom 122.8, thank you for your service today. So we'll go 122.8. 122.8, and we're on Unicom. So what I'll do at this point, we're getting kind of fast, so pull back the throttles, and we'll go flaps 5. And our gauge our autopilot for LNAV and VNAV, and we'll clear ourselves up to flight level 260, which is our final cruising altitude. Oh, it's not engaging at this point. There we go. And we'll have that go up to 26,000 feet. We're not climbing. We're actually descending for some reason. Okay, so now we're getting our altitude back. Alright, sometimes the VNAV have those problems. I don't know why, but it does that sometimes. So I'm Unicom at this point. So we got no one around us. Got our TCAS on. Okay, so we're starting to climb back up now. Quite. This is rather odd. Never had this problem with this VNAV. Apparently the vertical navigation doesn't want to work, so we'll just continue the flight on vertical speed, because we're not going to sit here and fiddle with it all day. So we'll start on that.
Tank Victoria Air France 260 review, good November information net.
I thought it was on 122.8. 122. Oh, I didn't switch it. There you go. 122.8. Okay. All right, 122.8. And on Unicom, we'll just tell them when we get our cruising altitude and our heading, not heading, but our direction really. So we passed not cruise, but our transition, so we go standard. In most of Europe, it's actually 6,000 feet. Sometimes it's 5 or sometimes 4. So it's different than United States, which is 18,000. So that's something to get used to. So we'll continue on our path. The aircraft is now flying. Although we are obviously in control of the aircraft, we are not actually inputting anything to the controls. At this point, because we don't have any ATC after this, you can't really do much other than just not talk, but give information to the pilots around us. We don't really have much else to do. I don't think that there is a controller at well, I don't know. Let me check something. Because we have to be, if we're in range, and then we have to be close. That's not what I wanted to open. Let me check. I'll go on Vatastic just for a second to see if we're within airspace. We'll get called. Somebody will say contact me on this frequency. But yeah, it actually went down, so it's no longer up. It was, but no longer. We're actually going to 280, my bad. So we're just going to be following our flight plan from here on out. There's no controller at Dublin, so we'll be flying by ourselves for the remainder of this flight. It'll be fun to have like a reevaluation at 7-4. Really beautiful plane on the outside. Not so much on the inside, but it's getting revamped by PMDG, and we all know it goes like really free. So that's good. The altimeter is not set incorrectly. So I want to start off by apologizing for not posting any videos in a really long time. It's going to be the second video of today. It's going to be uploaded a little bit later because I have to get the other one up. But I actually been traveling a lot. I went to Spain for 2 weeks, then came back and went to Florida for a week. And so I just really got back and started doing my summer work, and I haven't really had too much time. I really was trying to do some videos before I actually left for Spain, but the problem was I just didn't have enough time. I was getting ready, getting everything prepared, my arrangements ready, and then I just ended up going, and I didn't really have any way to put up the video. So the trip was awesome, but like I said, that kind of took away from the video. So now I'm going to be putting up, it's going to be like about a month since the last video soon. So I apologize for that. But yeah, we're not, you know, we're not dead. We're not stopping making videos. Jason just got a job, so he's actually upgrading his computer a little bit to start doing really high quality videos. At some point in my life, I'll get a really nice computer and I'll build one actually. But until that point, I cannot do multi. I really want to do actually like multi-computer things where I can have, you know, link the computers, have one doing one thing, one doing the other thing, so we can have really high quality content. But unfortunately, this is what we have now, and it's a good product. We're not, you know, we're releasing good things. I'm happy with what we're releasing. I don't think it's bad whatsoever, and so I think that, you know, that we continue down this road, and someday we'll be able to you know, release, you know, really, really high quality content. Although I'm happy with the quality we have now. So now we are just climbing up to our altitude of cruising. Look at that. So nice. I imagine just going to render. There you go. That happens sometimes. It happens a lot, actually. Not a lot, whereas you would noticeably have it happen. It happens maybe 1 in every 15 times, which is pretty high. But I think that's just the fact of this aircraft being old. It doesn't happen in other aircraft. I can tell you that for a fact. But yeah, so Service Pack 1 came out for the 777, and I'll be going over that in a video coming up right after this one, probably tomorrow. And so you're going to actually be able to go through and see everything about it. So that'll be interesting. We'll go over the change log and see what's going on. Most of the updates were just bug fixes, so you really can't go over that and to show it because the bugs are gone, so you can't really showcase the bug. But I will be going over that. I don't have any plans to buy this 777-300ER. I don't think it's really worth the price, and I don't want people to get angry with me. I understand it's a new aircraft. That's fine. I get that it's a new aircraft. It's completely new. They redid it. You know, that's fine, and I applaud them for doing that. But I feel like the fact that the base package was so much by itself, I really don't know if they should be pricing it so high. The base pack was $90, which is more than any other aircraft they have. And I understand that the technology is getting better, but the development time on each of the aircraft, I mean, I imagine were pretty similar. It wasn't like, I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I don't believe that the development time was really that much more. I might be wrong, and I probably am wrong, but from what I know right now, it's not the case. And to think that an expansion costs $30 when there's packages out there that cost $30 themselves, I just think that's a little bit of an unwaste. It's like a waste of money when you're really only getting a different version of the 777. Now, on top of that, I wish that the base package was the 300ER because it's a bigger aircraft. In my opinion, it's bigger. Yeah, and I think it's a nicer aircraft because I prefer to fly bigger aircraft if I can. You know, if I can, as soon as the V2 of this 7.4 comes out, I'm not going to be able to stop flying it because it's a big, nice aircraft, and that's what I really like for. That's what I'm looking for, which is, you know, if I can get my hands on a 777-300ER, that's the quality of PMDG, I would love that. But then again, it's $30. If it was $90, I would have got it. If it was the base package, sorry, if it was the base package, I would have got it. And I wish the 200LR was the expansion. I don't really see where else they're going to go with the expansion after this, because really what else is there? I mean, other than like a BBJ, I don't really see what else they're going to be able to do. They might be able to do a 200ER, but that's just going to be, to my opinion, completely stupid, because you're just making, you would just be making adjustments to the base package at that point, when that one should be free if they're planning on doing that one. But what I'll do is I will give everybody a shout out. We're reaching our cruise altitude. Running off cruise. Flight level 280 en route to IDW. So like I said, I mean, if they're going for a 200ER, it should be free in my opinion. But it's my opinion, so you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say at this point about that. But I'm really excited to see where they're going to go, to see what they're going to do next. I know that they're doing the V2. That'll come out in probably a year or something, because the development of flight sim content, you know, this is the problem. Because the actual platform is not developing, there's not a new flight sim every few years. So really what happens is that the people that are playing the games the numbers are staying the same. So there's still only however many, you know, it's still a niche. There's like, say, 10,000, 20,000 possible people to buy the game. Obviously, it's a lot more than that. I don't know how many, but say it's just 20,000. Every single time they release a thing, it's still 20,000. Maybe a few thousand people join. Say it's 25 this time, but it's not going to be sufficient enough for them to get more people and make a huge development team to start doing it, because they're not going to be able to pay all those people. Sorry, I don't want to say that. All those people a sufficient amount of money so that they're going to make a profit, a large profit. So, like I was saying, you know, they're going to want to limit the amount of people they have on their development team to whatever they're going to need to, you know, create a product. That's really the problem, in my opinion. Yeah, so that's really the problem, in my opinion. I don't think that it's really, you know, shall I say, effective when you're, you know, when I don't know what the word is. The user pool is not really growing exponentially, so I imagine it's kind of hard to ramp up the development time to make it from like a year to say 2 or 4 months. I feel like if it was that quick, it would be amazing, because we would be able to have really nice aircraft really quickly. But you know, that's a perfect world, so it's not really going to be the case. So unfortunately, that's not happening at the moment, and I really, to be honest, I don't know if it's going to happen. So, like I said, I don't think that, you know, the V2 is going to come out all that soon, and I don't really know if they have any plans for what's coming after that, other than the DC-6, which I'm not excited for, because I don't really like old aircraft. It's not that I don't like them. It is that I don't like them. I don't enjoy them that much, because, and I'm admitting this wholeheartedly, it's because I don't understand them. I'm very used to aircraft like this that are not highly automated, even though they are. I can fly aircraft by hand fine, but I'm highly, you know, I'm used to intaking a lot of information. I'm not used to these old aircraft. I might buy it, but what you really buy when you buy PMDGs, you're buying systems, and I mean, you only get systems if you're really interested in the aircraft. I mean, I don't really understand the systems of an old piston engine aircraft, so I don't know if I'll be able to appreciate it to the level that somebody else would. Because if you're getting a DC-6 for PMDG, you're getting the highest quality DC-6 you're ever going to get. And if I don't really understand it, if I don't really appreciate the systems, then why would I really buy it? Because that's why you're buying it. So I don't know, I'm throwing it up there, if I should buy it or not. It really depends on how much it costs, and, you know, I'm getting a job, so, you know, how much money I have at that point when it comes out. That really is a huge bar. I mean, if I have $1,000 and it costs $60, then yeah, maybe I'll buy it. But if I'm like where I'm at right now, and I don't necessarily have that much money, I'm probably not gonna buy it. It all depends on where we're at that point financially. So that's pretty much all I have to say about PMDG. But moving on to the 787 from Quality Wings, that thing's been coming along rather nicely. They released a video kind of a few months back, and that looks really nice. So on top of that, I'm quite kind of excited for it. I really think it's going to be a fantastic aircraft. I think it's going to change a lot of things, because it's going to be, I mean, if you've seen the Quality Wings Avro, it's very nice quality. I don't know what the development was. I don't know whether it went Avro 7.5 or 7.5 Avro, because the 7.5 is a lot less quality than the Avro. The Avro is really nice, so I expect to see really high quality from the 787, and that's just going to be amazing to have an aircraft of that complexity. With, you know, and I'm going to really love. I love the big screens. I love the big windows, and I think it's going to be really a lot of fun to fly, to be quite honest, especially because how beautiful the actual 7 is. So that's going to be exciting. I'm also really incredibly excited for the Aerosoft long-haul fleet that's going to be coming out. They're just finishing up, I'm pretty sure, with the A319 and 18 series. I'm kind of disappointed in that because I feel like we already have the 20 and the 21. So do we necessarily need a 19 and 18? I know they're different ranges and stuff, and they can actually go pretty far. And you can do a transatlantic with the 19 and the 18, either of them. I'm sure a bunch of people want it, but like I said, it's kind of like the 777-300ER and 777-200LR. I mean, do you really need the same aircraft as a different model? In my opinion, no. I would rather have before they start doing things like that, I would much rather than have developed they would develop the 20 and the 21, and then go on and develop the 30, and then go back and do the 19 or 18. Because I really am looking forward to the 330. The 330, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful aircraft ever. And I think that it's really a huge gap in the market right now. There's no high quality 330 that looks nice. That is, I mean, the whatever it's called, the CLS A330 is disgusting. In my opinion, it works. I had never used it. My friend had it, so I tried it, and it was horrible. I think that it's a part of the market that's missing out right now. Definitely would say that. And I think that we kind of need it, because I know that PMDG said that they're not going to do any Airbus aircraft because they have a partnership with Boeing. So like I said, that's unfortunate, but you know what are you going to do? I'm not going to start up a company because I don't know how to do it, so I would love to learn, but I don't really know where you would go to learn flight sim development, to be honest. So I won't, I mean, you don't expect, we're not expecting, the industry's not expecting an Airbus coming out of PMDG. Would it be awesome? Yeah, but it's not going to happen. So we're waiting to see it from Aerosoft. They've produced an amazing Airbus series so far, and I don't think that we have any reason to doubt that that's going to happen. Let's try the traffic. It's 16,000 below and climbing. So what we'll do is we'll do a select and we'll go over to the right of the aircraft. And what we'll do is this, he passes us. We'll go. I don't know why he's not doing any evasive action. But what are you gonna do? He's at also an odd altitude for his flight path, but whatever. As soon as he passes us, we'll continue on LNAV. Like I said, we're getting a really nice product from Airbus at this. I mean, from Aerosoft at this point for an Airbus. So I don't think that there's really a need for anybody to get in the Airbus market. Would I like to see competition? I would like to see different aircraft. Yeah, it would be amazing. We don't say. So I guess I would like to see the competition, but is it necessary? No. And am I expecting it? Not really. I need, it is essential to have a nice quality A380. Can't stress that enough. The A380 is a huge gap in the market at this point. There's no A380 out there that's really nice. Like the Wilco sucks. So really, in my opinion, the next thing we need is an A380. If there was an A380 coming out right now, you know, I would drop everything and find a way to pay for it, because it is one of my favorite aircraft. And in my opinion, the reason that people really are kind of shy of wanting an A380 is because only A380 out right now is really a pile. There's two actually. I thought it was the Wilco, and then there's another one, Overland. They're piles. They're really bad. So I mean, we need to combine really good systems development with really nice exterior models to actually see what potential the A380 could bring, because we haven't really been able to see that. So I definitely think it'd be a really good idea to do one of those. And I also really want to see What was I trying to say? I don't know. I remember what I was even trying to say. But this is my problem. I feel like as soon as PMDG finished their DC6, really, what else is there for them to develop? Quality Wings is doing a 787. They already did a triple. They've already done a 7.4. Quality Wings has done a 7.5. Level D 7.6. They might go for the 7.6 because it's gonna be, you know, quality. Level D is getting very, very old very quickly. 7.3 has obviously already been done by them, and the 7.2 has already been done by Captain Sim. So I doubt they're going for the 717, which is basically an MD-88 or a DC-9. It's more like the DC-9 actually. I doubt they would go for that. And Captain Sim also did the 707. So I don't really know if they're going to stick with Boeing. I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know what they're going to do. Like I said, they could go back into the old aircraft, which aren't necessarily Boeing, but they're still not Airbus, I guess. Because I don't know. I don't, like I said, I do not really see. Oh, we don't have an arrival. Oops. Let's see what the arrival is going to be. Batteries go to V. Let's do 1X. Why not? ILS 10. We'll do the Nasri. It's already pressed, probably past the descent, so we'll just start our descent now. See what we need to be at. So we'll do 30, 140. Clear 30, 140. And let's check what we're supposed to be at. 7 ST. ST, you're supposed to be at 7,000 feet. So we have 60 miles. We can definitely descend that quickly. Let's start our descent really quickly now. What we'll do 1,000 feet per minute. See how far that gets us to 7,000 feet. We're gonna have to do a pause at 10,000 anyway. Do a pause at 10,500 to slow ourselves down. So we're gonna want to pretty much have 10,500 by about this point right there, which is the 40-mile marker. We'll go for 2,000 feet a minute to see how much that brings it down by. Like I said, I don't really see where they're gonna go. I would really like to see what they have in mind, and I think it'll be really, really interesting whatever they do. But I don't know where they're gonna go, and that's really kind of part of the excitement. You know, where are they gonna go? What are they gonna do when they're, the Boeing product line kind of runs out? That, that's fine. And Danny, I would really like to see them I would love to see I'd love to see them do aircraft that have already been done, yet do them better. That's fine. But is it, if we already have a 7.6 or a 7.5 or 7.0 or 7.2, do we need another one? That's, that's a personal question. That's what, it's what I think, it's what you think. It's not, it's your opinion. If you say, you know what, I want a better one, then, by all means, that's your opinion. I feel that way. But I kind of also feel this way. If we already have a 707, why not get a high quality other aircraft if we already have one? If we already have a high quality 727, I would rather see a high quality, even though it might be higher quality, I'd rather see a higher quality like a different aircraft of higher quality, because we already have it. It's already available on the market. So really, when it comes to these things, it's really just perception, and it's really just the way you see it and what you want from it. And you know what? Everybody's entitled to feel the way they feel, and that's fine. I would say it's fine. I agree wholeheartedly. So we're getting kind of poor descent at the moment, just for the fact that I forgot to do a departure, an arrival, because obviously usually we are given arrivals before starting our top of descent. Usually way before the top of descent we get an arrival assigned, but we're on Unicom. So I will go to Unicom, descent into EITW, and route Vatter 1X. Alright, so, like I was saying, I would love to see something new, but is it possible they're not going to do something new? Yeah, it is. So I think it's a really interesting thing to talk about because it really brings up the question: what are the development plans? You know, they're unlike video games. You know, you could always make more video games. There's always new ideas. There's always this, but there are a limited amount of aircraft. Obviously, there are hundreds of thousands of types, but in this market, which is the airliner market, we're gonna run into somewhere. You know, we're not gonna want to keep getting new versions of the same aircraft. We're gonna hit a point where we're gonna start having to go into things like, you know, Tupolev or, you know, Aleutian. Are you really gonna want that? We're gonna have to start dipping into Bombardier. People are gonna have to start dipping into Embraer. I know that there's been some Embraers done, and they're nice quality, but they're not what I would want. You know, I've definitely seen some nice quality. I'm not seeing nice quality Bombardier, and we can see that. But those are all regional aircraft. The long haul is getting depleted rather quickly. I think, you know, just like, you know, other than the A350, which is new. You know, they're always going to make new aircraft, but they're not going to make new aircraft at the rate of we're going to be needing new aircraft. You see what I'm saying? So they might always be making new aircraft, but they're going to make aircraft in maybe 5 to 10 years from start to finish. So, you know, it's going to take 5 to 10 years to develop a game, an add-on. So, you know, it's a very unfortunately complicated market we are a part of, and unfortunately there are a lot of things that have to be spoken about. So really we don't have apparently that much longer to go. 32 miles to STU. Then after that we only have about another 60 miles until a part of our approach. Overall probably about 80 miles or 90 miles to go. Just like we have about 170 miles to go. I don't know why we started our descent so early though. But we need to be at 7,000, so we're going to continue that. It's really interesting for me to have these conversations. What I'll do is I'll be doing a live stream. Let me check my calendar actually right now to see what's a good day to do a live stream. I'll say that you guys know when to do it. Also, what I'll do is I will look up actually go on Twitter and follow J&M Simulations because I know we have one. And what I'll do is an hour before the live stream, make sure you have us set up as like something that it'll give you a when we tweet you get like you get an update. So what I'll do is an hour before the live stream on that day, if you forget about it, I'll just say live stream coming up in an hour, and I'll give you the link to it. But for now, let's say we'll do Monday the 4th. Tuesday the 5th. No. Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday the 6th we'll do it at 7 o'clock Eastern, which is 7 o'clock Eastern is 1 Zulu, so 1 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. Actually, that's a complete lie. It's 11 Greenwich Mean Time. On Wednesday the 6th, August 6th, we will do a live stream. We'll probably do a Vatsim flight, but as the date comes closer, we'll figure out what we're going to be doing. So we're leveling off almost here to get down to 10,000, and we'll have to continue this to get down to 7,000 in a reasonable amount of time. I don't know, speed breaks extended, I know. So as soon as we pass 6,000, we'll get our our transition going. For now, we're good. So what I'll do now is in the comments, just tell me what you want to see on that live stream. Whether you want to see a Vatsim video, whether you want to see whatever, you know, whatever you want to see, just whatever you want to see and what aircraft you want to see in it. It doesn't matter if I don't have it, because I'll just go buy it. So just suggest, and hopefully we'll get that live stream going. I'm really excited for that, actually, because I have not done a live stream. I like to interact with you guys. I will like to interact with you guys on a not a one-to-one basis, but a much more personal basis than just doing videos, because I have to wait, you know, a few days to respond to you guys in the comments if I'm doing it in a video. While there, I'll be able to respond to you guys immediately. So I mean, even if we can get 5 people that'll say they'll go, I'll do it. It'll be worth it. Even if I can get, honestly, if I can get 2 people to say they'll go, if 2 people say that they'll be there, it'll be fine. I'll do it. Even if 1 person, honestly. It's all about just, you know, if you guys want to do it, then I'm perfectly fine with doing it. I don't care. I just wanted to make it so that it's just me talking to myself. So, I mean, even if it's only just 1 person, you'll be the 1 person that says that they were on the, you know, J&M Simulations first live stream. So, that'll be you. So, we're arriving near STU at this point, 15 miles to go. And we'll be making a right turn towards Dublin, which is just over the water, apparently, that way. My family's from Ireland. Been there a bunch of times. I love it there. So, I mean, I'm a first generation. There we go. So I am Irish. You know, I've never been to England, actually, so I've never done this route before in real life. I've never actually done it in the sim either, so I'm not very familiar with it. So this is the coast of England, so I assume we're just going to head over that way. Or that way, actually. It's kind of an odd route to take, to be rather honest with you. Yeah, it's rather odd. But 10 miles to go. And lastly, we could put this back up to about 220, 230 maybe, because we still need some speed. We're gonna have to get over this body of water, and we're not gonna want to be sitting here, you know, going at, you know, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. We don't want to be going at 210 knots. Continuous ignition actually should be kept on. So we'll stay at 230 so that we can cross this with some haste. It doesn't look like it's going to be that quick of a cross, to be quite honest with you. But Dublin is on the coast, so it will be maybe an approach that's pretty much over water for 90% of it. But I don't know why they made us descend so quickly, because now we're going to be at 7,000 for the entire time until we reach Sopep, which is apparently quite a bit. Quite a way. And we'll go back up to 240, which is what they're suggesting for us at this point. And we'll just hold 7,000. I've been doing a visual approach unless there are any weather problems going on. At this point, it looks like the weather's looking pretty good over there, so, you know, obviously there's no weather radar on this thing, but if we get over there and we see weather problems, we'll switch to the ILS. No big deal. We can switch really easily from doing an ILS and not doing an ILS. As you can see, we already have all the information right here. What I'll do is I will get I don't think there's actually the ILS input on this. I believe it's just engaging the ILS. I only think that's on rudimentary aircraft. Yeah. There's not even an ILS input on this. You can't input it at ILS frequency. Still, oh, there, yeah, you can. Can you? I think it's just a standby radio. Yeah, I don't think you can. Yeah, you can't. Unless that's it. No. It's quite turbulent. It's no big deal. quite a few clouds up here, so you can expect quite a heavy. Oh, here comes the nice cloud layer we have. But if it's going to remain at 7,000 feet or above, we're not going to have to worry about the cloud layer, because that's not going to be enough to make us an ILS. It won't be capped to the ILS approach just based on a 7,000 foot cloud layer. So we're keeping the speed at 240 knots, because we're still, you know, maybe 100 miles away. So it was really a mistake going this slow this quickly. But it happened, so it's a little late at this point. 140 miles away. A lot of that would just be us on approach, so we don't have to worry about that. Ballantyne Airport information info. That's annoying. I guess that's 122.8. That's unfortunate. But we're gonna have to keep on it, because it's our only way to talk to everybody else. We're about 60 miles across this waterway. I might actually just climb above 10,000 and pass 250 knots, which I think would be a good idea. What we'll do is we'll go to 10,500, we'll go to 10,500, 600, and we'll go up to 280 knots. So we can cross this faster, because we're going to be sitting here doing nothing. So I've pretty much run out what I was going to talk about. Should be a nice quick climb. I'm going to try and get the best rate of climb, not the best speed. I don't know if I showed my new rig in anything, so I'll show that soon. I'll show my new rig. It's actually really, really nice. So, So you just gotta get this speed up so you can actually try and go a little bit faster. Get it was quicker. I don't know why I decided so early. It was my fault, misjudgment on my part. So we'll go up to 275 knots. Past 10,000 feet, this is fine. What I'll do is I'm gonna have to go soon, so I'm gonna start changing, and you guys can watch this today. Also, it's just some information on our what we're going to be playing. I'm definitely going to be doing an outro soon for this channel. I just haven't got around to it. And I'm definitely going to start using all of our social networking capabilities soon. I know that we are on Twitter, but I just haven't been using it because we don't have any followers. I don't think we have like 2, I think, because I haven't really been advertising it sufficiently. So we'll do that, and we'll be using Instagram a lot more with more pictures. Like it is. It's just, you know, we don't have that many followers, so it just hasn't been really a big enough. I haven't really been thinking about doing it because, you know, the only reason that people are going to follow us is if they know our channel, and it's unlikely that people are going to just come across it and be like, oh yeah, I'll follow them. So that's what I've noticed. So looking for 310, maybe our upper limit is 285, which just went down to. But we're traveling really quickly, which is what I need. Doesn't seem to change anything about our estimates. But that's fine because we're just going to be approaching at this point after this. Let's actually see what this brings us. Oh yeah, it's not too bad. Let's see if I can get a better runway, a more direct runway. Because we're on a 330 about, so there's a runway 28 here that would be much more efficient. There you go, ILS 28. Sweet, that'll be much better. It's gonna be much more of a straight in approach. Probably significantly changed our vertical necessities. Check runway length. 86,000, that's perfect. Not perfect, but that's more than enough for us at this point. We're not going to need too much of an auto brake difference. So making a right turn, and about, say, when we're about 20 miles away from soaring, we'll start our decel. And then we will start our descent. Actually, we can start our decel now to 230 knots. So they're only about 30 miles away. So we'll do a slow decel. We'll do, however, we're not going to do any speed brakes. We're just going to decelerate as quickly or as slowly as the aircraft will decelerate on its own, in order to facilitate our arrival, or speedy arrival. As you can see, we're just going to come up here, take a right turn, and then join up our approach path, which will be quick, and we'll do a visual approach. Like I said, unless we're getting really bad weather. There's a land, doesn't look like there's anything above it. There weren't any reports of anything in the, I'm going to take off the Unicom for just a minute until we have to actually say anything, because that's just annoying. It's probably been pissing you guys off quite a bit of time. So everything's looking good. Just going to check the systems just to make sure that they're good to land. Engines look fine. Electrical's perfect. Our fuel equal through all of them. These are hydraulics. Actually, ECS. That's our air, I believe. There's our hydraulics looking good. Doors are closed and locked, and the gear. The temps are fine. Stat. So hydraulic pressure and quantity is good. Temps are equal. APUs. We'll start that off right now so that when we're on the ground, it'll be nice and ready for our next flight, which we're not doing. But normally this is what you would do. Start the APU at this point, and we'll watch the APU start. Should be starting in a wee bit of time. So we're now decelerated. Now we're decelerated, we will start our descent to increase our ground speed. Not to increase our ground speed, but it will increase our ground speed. And just so that we can get to soar at 7,000 feet. actually decreased our ground speed. Interesting. Well, that's also because we actually had a higher speed before we started. So now we're only about how many miles? We're only 56 miles. So that really just destroyed the amount of time that we have to be spending. And we're estimated at 1809, which is about 14 minutes. So our planning is looking much better than it was before. Going to go down one level of distance. They're looking good. Soren is 28 miles away. 20 miles away. Yeah, 20. Sorry, the textures aren't very high quality in this aircraft. Internally, actually. Externally, they're pretty alright, I have to say. Pretty nice. The wing, not really. But hey, it's old. Passing through these clouds, beautiful frame rate. You can see their extended runway center line. 428. Probably should have stayed above 10,000 for a little bit longer, but what can we do? I didn't actually think about it. When you're going into descent, your ground speed would actually decrease. Actually, you're pointing your velocity, your momentum is more pointed towards the ground rather than away from it. Getting closer to 7,000. 240 is acceptable. So regaining our previous ground speed. As soon as we're going to be required to go a little bit lower, I'll just take the controls myself. So for SOPEP, we're going to be at 4,000, so I'll just take the controls at that point. It's only a 12-mile. The intervals are quite quick after this, so that's good. Sifna, it's only about 6 miles, and SOPEP is 12, so we're really going to be on a quick jump of waypoints after this one. We'll stay at 240 until I disengage autopilot. So we're landing somewhere over there. Circuit. Oh, my bad. Let's turn that back on. We'll get back on Unicom for just a moment to transmit. And get our landing lights on. Before it wasn't really necessary. Okay, ERDW traffic. Inbound ILS 28 via Vetra, what is it? Vatter 1X Alright, so making the turn to Sivna. Now that's transmitted. Switch back. Back on course. Now we're going to start decreasing our speed to 230 knots. It's still rather high, but it's not going to be necessary to go any lower, because we're really still quite high on the approach. We're going to be wanting to get in there rather quickly. Turning over onto Sopep. Now we'll be landing just about over there, in that region. Actually, it's going to be more over there. It's going to be the longest of the, pretty much the longest of the last waypoints. And what I'll do is, as soon as we get established on the course, I will disengage autopilot and finish the flight off with by hand. So we're going to put on our speed brake. Not put it on, but not extend it, but arm it. So what I was looking for. So we'll disengage autopilot, disengage auto throttle, and what we'll do is we'll initiate our descent by going throttle to idle. And we'll just start descending, and we'll adjust our throttle based on what descent rate we want. Let's zoom out a little bit because I always get better frames, and it's also because it's easier to take in all the information when it's zoomed out like this. Actually, I should zoom in because it's not very clear when it's that far out. So, altitude alert. I understand. It's just alerting us that we're 1,000 feet from our our chosen altitude. So we'll put that down to 4,000, which is our next desired altitude. I didn't need to do that because it was the autopilot, but just to prevent any further autopilot interruptions, and also because I don't want the autopilot to think that we're abandoning routes. It's also because when we hit 4,000 feet, it'll be good for us to see that we're actually hitting 4,000 feet. So what I'll do is I'll get our first notch of flaps down. Not that we need it, but just as a reference to not go above 250 knots. So we're getting kind of close at this point. We're going to start trimming the aircraft down. Like I said, we're very light, so it's going to be very easy for us to pick up speed. So I have to keep that in mind. We're light. It's going to be very easy for us to pick up speed with any addition of throttle, so I'm going to do that. Be safe with the throttles. Thrust. I meant to say addition of thrust, not addition of throttle, because throttle doesn't mean necessarily thrust. So picking back up the descent. Still got about 1,000 to go. We'll add our next notch of flaps. Start slowing down. So we only got about 10-15 miles left to go on the approach. The airfield's coming into sight just up here. I have the runway, but we won't make that turn yet. Stay on the path. Actually, we can start making the turn to line up with the, as you can see, the dotted extended center line mark. And we'll use the turn. You can see the turn indicator. We'll make sure that we use the turn, and we make the sufficient turn so that we're still on the turn indicator. Don't need to extend our gear until we hit that next waypoint. So for now we can just keep our configuration constant. There's the runway. Not that one that we're pointing at right now, but the other one. You can see it's right there. I believe it's concrete. Surface is concrete. So 4 miles, for the next waypoint. As soon as we hit that, we'll go gear down. Now we'll go flaps 10. As you can see, we're really not using any throttle here. I'll put a little bit up on the throttle so that we can maintain our altitude. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to regain the center line because we're a little bit off just from our turn, but nothing that's detrimental or even a problem to our flight. So we're getting rather close, about 2 miles to go. At about 0.5 miles to go, I'll lower the gear because it's going to look, it's really based on what we want to do, so I can put it whenever I want, but I feel like that's going to be a good time to put it down. I'm going to go no throttle and continue to fly by hand. It's good weather, so we're not going to need to go ILS. If we would have done it just about now, because there's not going to be any adjustments that the autopilot necessarily has to make at this point. We'll go gear down. We'll go flaps 20, flaps 20. We're going flaps 30 as our final flap configuration. As you can see, we're slowing down sufficiently. I'm going to raise the nose a little bit so we can capitalize on that slowing down. Slow down a little bit quicker. I'm going to start adding the throttle because we don't want to be too slow. We're still descending quite a bit, so that's why we're going to want to add the throttle, not to speed us up, but to keep that descent constant. So adding flaps to increase our lift. As you can see, our descent rate's coming up quite a bit now that I added the flaps, and it's actually quite low, which is what we need at this point. And I'll start pulling back those throttles again. We don't really need them that high. And we'll go final notch of flaps. So we're here, fully configured for landing, ready to go. Only about 4 miles left, and I'll do a quick taxi, and I'll try and stop as quick as possible to get on one of the high speeds at the end. As you can see, they're right there. I don't know if you can see them with a good view, but they're right there at the end, middle part of the runway. So we're pretty much aligned with the runway. We're a little bit off to the right, which is no big deal. We're just going to get that back. We're going to start adding a little bit of throttle because we're descending quickly, but we still haven't caught up to the glide slope. So we're going to want to make sure that we're keeping that in mind, that we're not necessarily touching the glide slope, or we're not on the glide slope yet, but we're just descending rather quickly, and we'll be able to catch the glide slope right as we get about a mile and a half away, maybe closer. I'll take all that throttle out. Again, we're rather light, so I don't have to worry about getting too slow. Our stall speeds are just about 120 knots, so we're gonna be good. So we're hitting about one mile and a half here. As you'll see, as soon as we hit about 1 mile, maybe 1.2 miles, we'll start hitting the glide slope. As you can see, it's not really a amazing situation, but it'll be fine for us. And keep that throttle in, so we're getting a little low. Keep the nose up. And make sure that we're not really overshooting or undershooting.
30, 20, 10.
Keep that nose up. Floating like crazy. Alright, so we'll go full reverse. Let's see if we can take this right here. Ooh, stop just short, so let's continue our roll out. But what we'll do is we'll stop here, and I know that I didn't broadcast the landing, but I'll broadcast the. I already said that I was on the ILS, so that's fine. I will vacate the runway, and I'm gonna leave it here because I have to go. But I'll say that I vacated the runway, and runway is cleared. But thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Like I said, go follow us on Twitter for the next live stream update, which is supposed to be on 2300 Zulu, 1900 Eastern on Wednesday the 6th, August 6th. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.